Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Unit 6.3 Notes, Day 3. Today we're going to be talking about the zero and negative exponent properties. Our learning target today is to be able to apply the properties of negative and zero exponents in order to simplify exponential expressions. So, when we simplify exponential expressions, all answers must contain positive exponents only. Now, you've seen this in your directions multiple times, but this is the first time that we're actually going to be applying that and seeing what that looks like. Okay? Now, I'd like to pardon my handwriting today because I actually have to use the smartboard while doing this because there's something wrong with my pen. Okay, so if a base has a negative exponent, you must move the base to the numerator. Let's try writing in a pen, Mr. Grice. The numerator, which is the top, or the denominator, which is the bottom. Okay, so that the exponent become positive. And remember that the base stays the same. Okay, we said in class, if your exponent's negative, drop it like it's hot. If it's already on the bottom, move it to the top. Okay, so here we go. Our first one, my exponent's negative, I'm going to drop it like it's hot. Now that it's moved to the bottom, it turns into a positive, and then I need to make sure that since everything moved on the bottom, to hold the place value, I need to have a 1 on the top. Okay? For our next example, y over, or 1 over y to the negative fourth, when I do this, my exponent's on the bottom, it's negative. If it's already on the bottom, I bring it to the top. Okay? Now the 1 is still there, but there's nothing on the bottom. I don't need to have anything on the bottom. So my final answer is just y to the fourth. Okay, for our next one, in parentheses 2w to the negative third. Remember, we always want to clean up what's inside, and it's already cleaned up. So I need to give everything an exponent. We distribute the negative 3 to everything. So my base stays the same. I get new exponents of negative 3 and negative 3. If my exponent's negative, drop it like it's hot. So I get 2 cubed w cubed and the 1 on the top. Now I can figure out what 2 cubed is. That's 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2, which is 8. So we have 8w cubed. Okay. And then finally, that last one, I check to see if I can simplify anything. I can't. So I have to distribute the negative 2, or sorry, the negative 1. And when I distribute that, I get y and 2. Those stay the same, but I multiply them and it's a negative 1. And then if my exponent's negative, I drop it like it's hot, so y comes to the bottom. And if it's already on the bottom, I have to bring it to the top. And then that's it. So if you keep hearing that clicking, that's me using the smartboard. Okay? All right. Now, for the zero exponent property, if a base has a zero exponent, the base turns into, not 0, Mr. Grice, the base turns into 1. Okay? If your exponent's 0, the base turns into 1. Base turns into 1. Okay? So whatever my base is, that's what turns into 1. Okay, even if there's a negative inside, that would turn into 1. Now our next one's a little different because the negative is on the outside. That stays there. But then whatever my exponent is, it's connected to the x, that turns into 1. So now this is negative 1. Okay? And even with problems like the x over 3y all to the 0 power, this would be distributed to everything, so everything just turns to 1. And then 1 divided by 1, 1. The main difference with our next one is where that negative sign is. The negative is on the outside, so that doesn't turn into 1, or that doesn't turn to a positive 1. It stays out there, but everything inside, yep, that's negative. Or sorry, that's 1. So it turns to a negative 1. Okay? So if we have negative exponents, we have to drop them like it's hot or move them to the top. And then if our exponent's 0, our base turns into 1. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Some of these will be quick, others will just take a couple seconds to talk about. So my exponent 0, my base turns into 1. And the same thing with our next one. My exponent 0, so my base turns into 1, and 1 times 1 is 1. That wasn't too bad, was it? Nah. All right, next one. Exponent 0, everything turns into 1. Okay. Now for number 3, there's a multiplication sign here. So I have to add these two. When I add 3/4 plus negative 3/4, that's 0 over 4, which is 0. And if my exponent's 0, the base turns into 1. Okay? All right, number 4. Who wins, the top or the bottom? They're the same thing. So when you do same thing, oh, highlighter. When I do 3/4 minus 3/4, we get 0 over 4, which is 0. So we really have x to the 0, and if my exponent's 0, the base turns into 1. All right, number 5. My exponent's negative, drop it like it's hot. The 2 stays up, the negative is only with the 6. And when I move it, when I drop it like it's hot, it turns into a positive 6. Okay? Now with number 6, I still need to do the same thing with my coefficients, okay? I need to do 1/3 times 18. 1/3 times 18 is 6, okay? I have a negative exponent, that means I need to drop it like it's hot. And then my x to the 7th stays up top. And that's all I can do. So what I'm going to do first is multiply. Negative 2/5 times 10 is -4. Now I know I have a negative exponent here, but I can also just combine these. And when I combine them, -5 plus 3, we get -2. And now as I start going to my final answer, my exponent's negative, drop it like it's hot. Now, if you wanted to drop it right away, you can do that. But I like to try to clean up first because, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll have a positive exponent and I won't have to move it twice. Okay? So if my exponent's negative, drop it like it's hot. If it's already on the bottom, bring it to the top. So then I would want to add my exponents, and 2 plus 2 is 4. So this is really saying w raised to the 4/5 power. I know, we're getting there. Only a couple more to do. Okay, number 13. So I have -15 times 3. -15 times 3 is -45. Oops. Okay. And then I can combine these and we get x to the 0. And if that's true, if my exponent's 0, my base turns into 1. So that's -45 times 1, which is just, yeah, -45. Okay? Don't be scared of fractions. Okay? My base is the same. Okay? So I can add them up, combine them. 7/3 minus 2/3 minus 5/3. And well, I know that 2 and 5 is 7, so 7 minus 7 is 0/3, which is 0. So this is really saying w to the 0, and if my exponent 0, my base turns into 1. Okay, we just have to look very carefully at some of those exponents because I know they look a little different. Okay, we have to look for that negative sign and not confuse it with an extra large fraction bar, if you know what I mean. Okay? So we worry about the coefficients first. 8 times -2 is -16. I'm going to add my m's, and that gives me m. 2 minus 7 is -5. And then we have the n, -6/7 plus 6/7 is 0. So my final answer, if my exponent's negative, I drop it like it's hot. And n to the 0, if my exponent's 0, my base turns into 1. So if it turns into 1, I'm good. All right, and finally, number 16. Okay, so once again, we take care of the coefficients first. 2/3 times -45. What'd you get? Well, I hope you got -30. That's what I got. Okay, so then I need to combine my exponents. 1/2 minus 5 over 2 is negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. So I really have x to the negative second. And then I need to combine my y's. Negative 4 plus 6 is 2. Okay? If my exponent's negative, I drop it like it's hot. If it's already on the bottom, I leave it to the top. So I have negative 30 y squared. And then my x squared goes to the bottom. Sorry, that should be written in red, Mr. Grice, x2. Okay? So I know we're just adding more and more exponent rules, guys, so just make sure you know them, and if you have any questions, come and see us, okay? Exponent's negative, drop it like it's hot. If it's already on the bottom, bring it to the top. And if your exponent's 0, your base turns into 1. Okay? 6.3 practice C is your homework. If you have any questions, come find us. This is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra 2, Unit 6.3 Notes, Day 3. Thanks for watching.